On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out if Peter created Peter on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, if Harley Bane and Clayface put on the best musical Metropolis has ever seen on Harley Quinn, and if Eve and Mark are going to get their own place on Invincible. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Superhero Show, a podcast where some friends gather around to talk about their favorite comic book-based TV shows that came out this week. This week, I am joined by my good friend, Mike.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Oh my gosh, that was too many highs.
Was it? Okay, hey there, ho there.
You picked the right ones. If you got rid of hey there can always go, but never ho there. And that is so important to know.
Ho there.
Ho there to you as well. This week we are going to say goodbye to the first season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I want to know if you're missing it. I'm not going to miss saying that long title because it's confusing to me, but I do want to know your opinions on if you're going to miss this show.
Wait, is the title confusing or is it just a mouthful to say?
It shouldn't be confusing. It's a mouthful to say, but for some reason I want to switch friendly and neighborhood. Your neighborhood friendly Spider-Man doesn't make sense, but that's what my mind wants to do.
You know what? Call it whatever you want, I say.
You're Spider-Man who's in the neighborhood and he's also friendly.
Yeah, that rolls off the tongue. I just like to call it Yifnism.
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 That's honestly the biggest downside of it is there's no good acronym. There's no good way to short this guy. Yeah. We have, STAS. Have we settled on STAS for Spider-Man the Animated Series?
We have. This could be YTAS.
You know what? Now that's big brain energy. Now you're on to something.
And Y stands for the entirety of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
And that everyone will instantly always know that.
Yeah.
We are going to be saying goodbye to that one because the first season is done. We have some other shows to talk about, though. We're also going to be digging into Invincible and Harley Quinn because those came out this week. So it's a packed episode. I don't know how you feel about it, but I also don't care because I'm hosting it. So let's go ahead and dig into those right now. In the final two episodes of Yifnism, Norman brags about putting Otto in jail. The 110th fight the Scorpions over the Octavius weapons, which leads to Lonnie getting powers. Osborn opens a portal to space using the intern's inventions, which causes the photo venom to show up. Doctor Strange rolls up to stop it, and we find out that Spider-Man's very existence is a time paradox. Also, Harry starts his own company, Nico has magic, and May goes to visit Peter's dad, who is alive in jail. Taste buds, I ask you this. How did this otherwise grounded character show juggle all this craziness in an open bid for a second season?
I would definitely buy new seasons. There's too much going on. But I think because most of the rest of the season was pretty grounded and like you got to know these characters as individuals, their relationships to each other, so you can just go balls to the wall in the last two episodes and hit that kind of like movie style, like, everything's happening now. I would not have guessed all the things that are happening in these last two episodes, but I think it felt very different, but I think they nailed it.
It wasn't too jarring.
I loved it. And like the amount of times we went, what?
Do you think that's because we've done our time with X-Taz in Spider-Man the Animated Series that we're used to like, that's our grounding and that's where we're like, this is how it should be?
Yeah, for sure. Like, this has been methadone and we went right back to heroin for these last two episodes. And we're like, all right, let's get fully high.
This is what I've missed. This is what I need. Because I don't even know where to start with. There is a lot that you've listed going on here. What was the most standout moment to you, or the fight that stand out the most?
The wildest was when I was realizing Spider-Man made Spider-Man. That is so different. Like, this was already like different. It was like, oh, a different dimensional spider is what bit him. Mm-hmm. But that spider only exists because Norman took Spider-Man's blood and was experimenting on other spiders to make the Spider-Man clone, and that's what had bit him. And when it clicked, like a couple scenes before it happened, I was like, oh shit. what the fuck? Like, it is out there. And this feels like I don't know how a non-comic reader can deal with this show. Even though our other Wild shows stay grounded enough and like, well, this is how this world works. This is a season-long mindfuck for children. Like,
that's crazy. So he basically, was his goal to make Spider-Man the whole time while like experimenting on those spiders, or was there a different goal?
No, yeah. So Norman, who's, is still quote unquote good, but we've learned is shadier and shadier. Okay. But when Peter was knocked out and Norman was helping him and healing him from his first fight with Scorpion, he took a bunch of his blood to be like, well, we got to make more Spider-Men.
Gotcha.
And it's one of those spiders that ended up biting Spider-Man to make Spider-Man.
That's insane. This show took some shots. I appreciate it.
And it was when Doctor Strange was like, I've never been to Midtown High. I was like, oh, I know what that means.
Little nerd Mike was like, oh my God, they're doing it.
I'm pretty smart. So yeah, it was, and I could see if somebody's like, fuck that, that's stupid. Mm-hmm. Fair. I get it. But I trust enough in this show that they'll untie things or deal with it or not in next season. But I enjoyed it. It's
also like when you're this deep into comic book TV shows, like I'm open to anything. Like I can't say one thing is more crazy than the other. Like we're in comic book world. Do whatever. I don't care as long as it's entertaining.
I did kind of expect, because Cassie, we've probably talked about this, that we've met Tombstone in Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s.
We have. Right? Yeah.
So when Lonnie was in the back of the truck and that smoke was coming out, I was like, oh, he is going to fall out of that van, be chalk white, have a flat top, have the deepest V you've ever seen in a shirt, and talk in a way that is not okay. And so he was just super strong. I was like, okay, slow roll it. That's fine.
Okay. Piece by piece, you just see him one day in a deep V, and you're like, oh my God.
I'm just vibing this now, guys.
This is my new look.
Call everybody jive turkeys the following episode.
They're like, I have to stay true to the character, and he did say this all the time, so I have to do it. You mentioned proto-venom. I need you to explain the interns that created the proto-venom.
So the interns, it's Amadeus. I don't remember the other, but it's all Peter's friend turns, I think Nico calls them. They've all been working on one little project, and they thought they were very disparate. And then Norman is like, hey, I've actually taken all the things you guys invented, blown them up to 100 times their scale, and it's been a interspace portal, so we can also cross the stars and the cosmos the way aliens keep doing.
Jesus.
And when he does it, he's like, hey, I think it's Dr. Whitlock, the crotchety scientist. He's like, go to that galaxy we definitely know has nothing going on in it. And they open it, and the first thing you see is like, I'm calling it proto-venom. Nothing but it's the symbiote that's making venom. It had like almost Venom's face that we saw in the first episode.
Okay.
And we see that thing come through again, and that's what starts the fight between it and Doctor Strange. And then there's like 8 heads versions of it. There's like a bigger one in the back, and like
that's rad.
Yeah, it's a different take, which makes me think like we could get like there's a lot of symbiote lore now, and like
That's a crazy phrase you just threw out there. There's a lot of symbiote lore.
There's so many, like they're a race of aliens, and they have their own gods and powers, and like for decades we only saw like Venom and then Carnage and some other symbiotes before we got like Null is their god, and he has this crazy. So maybe with this we're gonna get to their like the Klarnax, the Clarks. It's something stupid. It's definitely a dumber name than symbiote that their alien race is called. But maybe we're gonna get into like their lore hardcore.
Do you think, is there anything where this could go like? So it seems like this season left off on like kind of a big cliffhanger to get everyone excited to go on to season 2.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Like it's just kind of like, here's everything we threw at you, and I hope you're on board.
We started to see hints by like Nico getting nervous, like her necklace flashing in a certain way, her fiddling with it, but she fully does a spell and talks to the ghost of her mom in these episodes. Harry's like, you know what? Yeah, fuck my dad. We're gonna make our own cool kid science company, and there's a chalkboard with a bunch of like Easter egg names from all around the Marvel universe, and he's emailing everybody. What else was? Oh yeah, May going to see Peter's dad in prison, and we thought he was dead this whole time. Ooh. One of the other science kids is Daredevil's sidekick, and we learned that like they really did throw. Damn. There's not one plot that got untouched here to be like, you're gonna give us another season, bitches. And they are. They got picked up. They got picked up for 2 and 3, I think. And there's already character designs showing up online.
Oh, that's so cool. His dad being in jail. Who goes to visit him? And were they just hiding the fact that they knew this info the whole time?
Yes. Aunt May. So she's, been raising him since his parents died.
Yeah.
And Uncle Ben died before the show started, so we thought all that was normal. And then she goes to see Richard in jail. So it's her brother. She's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, stop. He's a dick. Like it's like 3 lines, but he's a dick. Instantly he's like, that's neither here nor there. Tell me about my son, Peter. And then it's like, dun, dun, dun.
You know the boy, Peter. With this Spider-Man, how do you think he'll handle that knowledge? Like, is this going to be like he'll get a little angsty about it?
Oh, yeah. And I feel like we actually haven't seen this angsty of a Peter yet. Like, we are, again, used to Estaz, and that guy is a whiny, angsty bitch.
So freaking whiny.
And this Peter's pretty stand-up, and he's a pretty good dude, and I think this will spiral him a little more. Like, and he's made up, him and Nico made up. Him and Pearl are getting closer. Him and Lonnie are still friends. I bet his dad showing up pushes him away from his friends. It's kind of my prediction. And he'll be like, no, dad's good. Like, they're swapping out. He already knows Norman's a bad guy, but I bet, my dad's in jail, but he's a good guy. And then his dad's going to be like even a bigger piece of shit than we can imagine. That's my prediction.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm here for it.
Oh, bad dads, let's do it.
Let's do it. Season 2, you're going to get me. We do have there's Doctor Strange rolling up, and I feel like this can also oftentimes be leaned on too much for Doctor Strange to be like this plot hole thing, like to kind of look, he can use all these powers and stuff and connect the worlds. How did he feel coming into this?
I like this version of Doctor Strange, both stylistically, like we talked about before, like he looks like straight out of the 70s. I think it's awesome. And then he's not, I don't want Peter to necessarily have, like in the movies with Iron Man as his full-on mentor. Yeah. And Doctor Strange basically is like, he's like, can you give me advice? And he's like, nah, you got it. See ya. And flies away. I like this very off-putting Doctor Strange. He's like, I mean, I'll help when I need to. Yeah. I'm not here to be your fucking friend or coach.
That feels more true. That feels like a more Doctor Strange. He would not be about taking in these children. He's
kind of arrogant. This
even after smushed hands.
Yeah, Dr. Smush Hands.
Dr. Smush Hands and the Magic Boy. Let's go to moments of the week. What was yours?
With all the craziness, I wanted to call out a fun, silly moment that this show I do think is very good at is they've been fighting the proto-symbiote. They're doing what they got to do. Everybody's cleared out. It's just Strange and Peter. And he's working on fixing the machine. He's like, I got the battery work, and the battery dies again. And then he just kicks it. And it turns on. He just goes, I got the battery working. This is the thinking, flying from the seat of his pants, just super doofy. And I really enjoyed that. And then, just realizing that what was happening with the time paradox.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so rad. Overall, it sounds like you're very excited for the second season to come back. Big fan of the first season.
Yeah, huge fan.
Hell yeah.
Which was nice considering I'm pretty down on main Marvel right now.
Yeah, it feels good to have something that's good.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That is it for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out. It's over on Disney Plus. Mike, I know you've been working on a website on your off time. If you want to tell the people about it, because the people are emailing us and they're like, I wish I knew a website to go to. They're just desperate for it.
They're so bored of the internet. They need more websites. Do you remember that era of the internet that was just I'll type in a website and go there? It wasn't all in one place.
Dude, isn't that what Board Panda? Board Panda just took you to other websites. It was hey, are you bored? Here's other websites. Or
Stumble Upon. Yeah, there's so many websites that were man, and that was the best of it. It was stupid trying to make it, let's just go to these 3 places. That has nothing to do with my website, but I was just reminiscing. Plotbomb.com. It's kind of fitting that there's such a crazy time paradox in this show. But plotbomb.com, are you a writer? Are you creative and you're stuck? What happens next? Go to plotbomb.com. And it is based on ethically driven generative AI. All right. We're not fucking stealing from people. And you're you type in here's my general plot. I'm stuck. And then it's going to throw some wild shit at you. It's the love interest is actually his mom. and he didn't know that. Oh, he's his own grandpa.
Hate that.
It's not all weird incesty stuff, but
Now how would someone be their own grandpa? Like, can you come back with it and ask it more questions for like the science behind this?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna give you. It doesn't give you just one sentence and say you figure it out. We've realized you're actually creatively bereft if you need to go to a website driven by AI to help you write your thing. So you're not going to be able to figure this shit out. This one's ethically AI.
This one,
which means I've spent the last 5 years just writing crazy plot twists that could happen, and I'm loading it up, and then my AI. So it doesn't scrape any of the internet; it scrapes all of my work.
This is a look into Mike's mind and what all he has jotted down, and it's basically a tree. One path will take you to this effed up idea, another path will take you to this effed up idea.
Oh, you thought it was just your cat, but it's actually been Satan himself watching you since you were born. Deal with that. Oh, you thought you were writing like a coming-of-age, grounded YA story? Not anymore. Your cat was Satan.
Save these, write these down. These are huge. I have never supported you more than in this moment. I think this is going to be a great website for you. So I'm going to send you over to my friends, Cybersprout, because they're going to make it beautiful. Your beautiful mind is already on display, and they just need to make the website beautiful itself. And Cybersprout can help you do that, because they got design experts that are well-versed in digital strategy and elegant design, and they combine the two masterfully. They work hand in hand with you. They love messed up ideas. Their cat's also Satan. Check them out, cybersprout.net. They're your partners for digital world. Let's go talk about more TV shows. We are back to talk about the other shows that came out this week. Starting it off is Invincible. On this week's episode of Invincible, there's a shakeup in the underworld as Titan, Isotope, Machine Head, and Mr. Liu wage war against each other. A war that includes a huge dragon. Meanwhile, Eve and Mark decide to move in together, and then decide to not. Taste buds, I ask you this. Was Multi-Paul's escape from prison one of the grossest things you've ever seen?
Yeah, we've done, so much. I mean, we've seen so much IRL CGI enhanced grossness from The Boys. We've seen so much animated grossness from Invincible. I didn't know the show could still surprise me. And Cassie, Multi-Paul, who is Duplicate's twin brother, but he's a bad guy. He's in jail. And he's like, I gotta get out. And he kind of looks like bummed, and he starts duplicating himself over and over and over and over again, and then his real self climbs up into the ceiling like in one of those light fixtures, and then keeps duplicating. You're like, what's his plan? And it's the sheer body weight starts pushing the door open, but you see his clone's eyes popping out from the pressure of just too many bodies in the room, and just gallons of blood pour out from the door. And he's watching versions of him that he created die so disgustingly, being crushed by their own weight. It was nasty and dope. And that's how the episode starts.
From this season, I remember, this is probably the first show that got me grossed out by animated gore, and it was the train scene in season 1 where his dad just blasts him through the train, basically. You just see him get shredded. So this is worse than that. You're saying even more?
Yeah, it kind of was.
No,
because that happened fast.
Yeah,
this happened slow. This makes you sit in it.
Do the clones feel pain? Do we see that?
Oh yeah, no. And they let you know by the noises they're making. Yep. They're not loving life.
Great. Does he escape does he at least get out?
No, not out of prison. They ended up throwing a power inhibitor collar on him. He fights through guards. You think he's gonna get out, and then Paul definitely thinks he's better than he is. And he almost makes it out, and then they get him, and they throw one of those collars on him, depowers him, and then his sister visits him and goes, "You're a fuck up. Don't do that gross shit again." That's
what, Invincible will always do. As, the dumb TV watcher that I am, I'm surely they've gone through all of this. He's gonna get out. Right. But Invincible's absolutely no, dude, you watch all these things die for no reason.
It was just to kill time. We have a few minutes, why not?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Love it.
The main plot point for Mark is that he's moving in with Eve. Is that the big point for them?
Yeah. Eve keeps sleeping over, and they're 20. Yeah. They're 19 or 20, but she keeps sleeping over and pretending she's not. She'll do the thing where she leaves early in the morning, comes in the front door. It's pancakes. Oh, Debbie, you made a plate for me? How crazy.
Yeah.
And Oliver's they were playing loud all night. I heard the noises, so I couldn't sleep.
Yep.
Classic. And so they're what if we go get our own place?
Nice.
And then Debbie and Oliver are both very upset. And I get it. At one hand, they're like, oh man, he's 20, he should move out. But also, they're still not really recovered from the fact that dad was a homicidal maniac, and maybe just stick with your family for a little longer for them.
Yeah, that takes some time. Okay. Probably a little bit of time for that.
Especially since Oliver might be a murderer.
Little Oliver.
Or he did murder, but like you're trying to teach him empathy and stuff.
Yeah, he's a confirmed murderer, but how much will he murder is the question now.
What I loved is this, he disappears. You're like, oh, Oliver ran away because Mark is moving out. Mm-hmm. And then Eve and Mark find him, and he's just skateboarding with friends who are his age and they're normal friends. And he's just being a normal kid.
Oh, they have these little precious moments.
Hope for Oliver. Yeah.
Wow. Is it mainly, do we have only good Oliver, precious Oliver for this episode?
Yeah, and I'll jump to, it's my moment of the week, because we're here anyway, is Mark gets worried because bullies come up and they're like, we're skating on this fountain. Get out of here, 10-year-olds. And they're like 14. And Mark's like, oh no. And Eve's like, they'll be fine. And he's like, I'm not worried about Oliver and his friends. But what Oliver does is he just uses his super speed to pants all the bullies, and then they run away.
See, that's
good.
He
does not murder these young teenagers, which is good.
That's good instinct right there. That's how you bully. That's proper. I'm proud of him for this one.
We all are.
That's a good moment of the week. The other guys, there's a whole war going on, I see here.
We can talk about that later. I don't care.
All right. That's coming up later. That's it for Invincible. It's Thursdays on Amazon. Our next show and final show of the week is Harley Quinn. On the 6th episode of Season 5 of Harley Quinn, after Brainiac goes back on his deal with Lena Luthor, she tells Harley, Bane, and Clayface Brainiac's whole story and plans for Metropolis, and asks them to help take him down to get the people against Brainiac. They do this in the best way they know how, which is to put on a musical starring Clayface, Harley, and Frank. Taste buds, I ask you, we got a lot to talk about with the ending of this episode, but before we get to that, I have to know, does this count as a musical episode, and do we need to rank it against our other comic book TV musical episodes?
I guess we'll have to. There was a lot of songs.
There was a lot. It wasn't a full, I wasn't sure because Riverdale had its musical episodes, and those were the ones we would get excited for. But that's the whole episode just kind of becomes a musical, whereas this one they're putting on a musical. So I wasn't sure on our categories here.
It would be unfair. But I will also say I'm glad we didn't see all these songs.
Dude,
I do not think these songs are great. I disagree with Metropolis being won over by this play.
There's something in Metropolis's water that's making them just so easily entertained, because we got the whole first song and it was too much.
It was the height of too muchery.
It was the point of it to just be like, hey, this song is them each saying a sentence each, and they're going to repeat it the whole time, and then they're going to have little Hamilton breakdown moments, which are also terrible. But just witnessing it, even I was like, you guys went a little too long on this, but I'm here for it.
Oh, yeah, it was funny. I'm not saying the show is bad, but the musical show within the show is terrible.
Yes, absolutely. I also the fact that whenever there's a musical now, it will have a Hamilton moment. It's just changed how musicals are presented now.
And it really does, I loved Hamilton, but it really does say, isn't this fucking stupid?
Yeah,
I guess so.
And each time they do it, I'm like, man, was I an idiot for liking that? I gotta
we're all wondering.
reflect on myself here. But yeah, it just very Harley Quinn thing to do, to have this whole thing where it's we absolutely have to take down Brainiac, and it does not happen because Clayface is so committed to putting on a good play and becoming a likable character that people end up liking Brainiac.
Yeah,
because
he's like, no, it's not journalism that gets there, it's theater.
It was so when we get Lena. Yeah, hell yeah. We get Lena just telling them the story. She goes to the Daily Gazette.
God, it's the Daily Planet.
I don't mean to break you. It's just such a natural gift that I have.
I know. That's what it's just the most famous fake newspaper in the world.
The Daily Planet. And she's she gives them the whole story, and Bane is there, and it doesn't get an explanation as to why Bane is there. Bane is just in the office, and the only reason for
he works there now.
Oh, does he work there?
Yeah, Clayface is Perry White hired Bane.
Wow. Beautiful.
Because Bane will just write whatever he tells him to write.
At first, I was like, I don't know why Bane is here. And then they put on a musical, and Bane was in charge of writing the whole thing. And I was like, I get why they did this. This obviously was needed. Yeah. Do you have, other than that, we have, like, the episode starts with Lois and Harley, like, just kind of sharing, trying to figure out what's going on with Brainiac.
Yeah, they're like, I've been seeing the skull. What does that mean? I don't think they know it's Brainiac yet. They're putting it together. And then Harley reveals she and Ivy killed Woodrow. And Lois is like, what? Gotta go handle that. And she's like, no, that was off the record.
They have this whole fight of, like, what's off the record on the record, and then it becomes a fight in the paper.
Yes.
And, like, I don't want to jump to moment of the week, but it absolutely, like, that was mine, is when the headline comes out and it's like Harley Quinn, age 48, killed this person.
Yeah, she's so mad.
The dig to throw in age 48 in the title, so funny, such a good move.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's true or not.
I can't tell you. I absolutely can't tell you. But we do have, what do you think will happen with, because we didn't get any resolution on this of, like, we see Brainiac watching this play.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like just there for it and coming to the realizations that they're making in the play. But I don't know what this means for the world.
Well, it makes him realize that Coco is dead. Because he's like, this whole play keeps saying you're dead. And then he goes and he sees the pile of bones. And he's like, no. And then I do think, I don't know what's going to happen, but he is realizing Metropolis sees him as a sympathetic character now because of how Clayface had Bane write it and how Clayface played it. So his goal is to make he thinks nobody knows what loss feels like.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, I'll make you all feel loss. And he starts with Frank on stage. He goes, well, if real Coco is dead, I will kill the actor playing Coco. And he kills Frank.
In just such a crazy move. I figured they would never, like, these are one of our core characters. These are one of the people that people come to the show for. This was crazy to do.
Yeah, and it feels, final. Ivy tries to use her Ivy powers. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
The stagehands, being impeccable professionals, still put spotlights on her, even though she is not part of the play.
Yeah,
she's just dealing with the fact that one of the actors died.
Turn off all lights, spotlight only on this dramatic scene, and everyone is locked in.
I mean, it's better than anything they had written.
It truly is. But yeah, like, just so crazy to watch Frank die out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all. I went to my moment of the week. What was your moment of the week?
I'll try to do it as the character does. You are no writer, Perry White. That is why you didn't know the scene was over when Clayface left the room. And they got it. TV-wise, rhythm-wise, that scene ended, and then Perry White kept trying to talk and ask Bane if he could help write the play.
It's so
and that tickled me. And I would say it's pretty rare a fourth wall breaking thing tickles me these days instead of just makes me roll my eyes. So
yeah,
good job, Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they did it a couple times on this one, and that was the best like I've seen in a while for a break. It really got me. It was a delightful one. If you aren't checking out Harley Quinn, you absolutely should be. It's Thursdays on Max. That is it for our show, though, Mike. It's time to wrap it up here. It's time to say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
Bye-bye. But before you do, don't leave yet. I need you to tell them.
Okay, I'll come back.
I told you they're begging for websites, and they, of course, have plotbomb.com for their writing needs for ethical AI. They can go there. But they need another website.
Okay, go to popfilter.co. It's where all the stuff we make shows up. That's your second. So you're logging on 8 a.m., time to internet. First, you go to plotbomb.com. Once you're done writing, then you're like, all right, what else is out there? Popfilter.co. And then you're like, I need a shop. Throw a little /Amazon there. Popfilter.co/Amazon. And that's how you're shopping now. Get the dumb things you need in an hour while helping us out a little.
Get us a little bit. And that's the only websites you need. That's going to fill your whole day, I believe.
Yeah,
enjoy those
that's
websites.
That's your day. That's your solid 8 hours. Then you log off, you touch grass, and you see trees.
And we're going to heal together this way.
Yeah.
We have another show on the network. It's called Movie of the Year. Can you tell the people what's going on over at Movie of the Year, Mike?
This week on Movie of the Year, we are, I believe, wrapping up our Best of 2024 mini season. We did music. We did horror movies. We did TV, drama, and comedy. And finally, we're getting back to movies. The name of the show. Movie of the Year presents Best of the Year 2024, films, you're gonna love it.
You're gonna absolutely love it. Check it out. It's the end of an era happening over there. But I have another task for the people, and that's to follow us on Instagram, because we are at Your Pop Filter on Instagram. So give us a follow over there. If you need just a little bit more time, again, your main websites, we went over those. But if you have a little bit of extra time, you're going to spend 5 minutes on Instagram, and that's going through our photos and liking them. Thank you very much. Your next moment on the internet, you're going to send us an email. That's contact@popfilter.co. You're going to send us just little compliments, little questions over there. That's what you're going to do. There's your directive.
I like you're telling them what they're going to send us. Bullet point 1, a compliment. Bullet point 2, a question.
If it doesn't start with a compliment, it immediately goes in the trash. I just want you all to know that. That's it for this week, though. Next week, we're returning back to our old faithful Spider-Man the Animated Series. It's gonna
shit.
It's time. It's gonna feel so good to go back. So be sure to catch that episode. For Mike, I'm Ryan. For Anna, Mike from Miami. Bye, everyone.